Hey guys, I want to talk about how I would make a live-action Ben 10 adaptation and how long it would go for and how it'll translate from animation to live action, those sort of things. I know it's owned by Warner Bros, but Netflix has worked with Warner Bros in the past, like with the live-action Japanese Full Metal Alchemist. I want to treat it more like stuff like the new live-action One Piece and all the live-action anime that are coming out as well, rather than the DC and Marvel bullshit. I actually want them to adapt the original storylines from the original series, one season per film. Warner Bros. Have talked about not wanting to do a series, and there have been talk of a live-action film instead. And you can have me elaborate more on this when I talk more in depth on Race Against Time in my other video. The first movie will adapt the first season. Our main characters will mostly be accurately casted, except for Ben's mum if you want to add scenes before Ben's trip, I guess, where his mum's Japanese, even though his dad and him are American, I guess. But you're going to have to keep Kevin Japanese. I thought about casting Walker Scobell as Ben Tennyson. Most of his aliens will mostly be voiced by the voice actors from the original series or some anime voice actors. Stick to the source material as close as you could be. And now there are going to be some changes that have to be made, but as long as it's not an unnecessary change. Now, you can add some additional compositions to some scenes, but mostly episodes 1 through 5 will mostly be kept untouched, with a bunch of added scenes that might be linking them together and adding on to the world. Episode 6 is entirely removed, and we only have that as a reference at one point. Episode 7 will be the halfway point of the film, where they have Kevin 11. The rest of the movie will adapt episodes 8 through 13, cutting out episodes 11 and 12. Now, you can add some little scenes that do foreshadow the Forever Knights for the future, I guess. And you can have Ben be sick in episode 10 with Lucky Girl. So you essentially have all 10 episodes and all of season 1 adapted, except those 3 filler episodes that have nothing to do with the plot. And I also can add the feeling of a level sort of video game type movie where each episode felt like a level, that sort of thing. And I would have John Cho play Heat Blast, Ghost Freak, and Vilgax to pay homage to Spike Spiegel having the same voice actor as those 3 characters in Ben 10. And lastly, I would add a post-credits scene that teases Kevin 11's rise in Season 2. Now, Season 2 is where I can get a little experimental here. The first half would be adapting episodes 1 through 7 like the first one. You can cut out episode 2 if you really want to and insert Cannonbolt in the first episode. You can have the filler episode where Gwen gets the Omnitrix be a dream and Ben vaguely remembers it. I still want him to learn that lesson for Secrets of the Omnitrix. Combined episodes 7 and 8 together if you want, or just leave them separate. And the rest will be from episodes 9 to 13, cutting out episode 10. Trust me, it has no relevance. But they could also mix episode 9 and 12 together, and then you have that powerful moment with Ghost Freak, and then you have the season finale. Then we have a post-credits scene teasing the next season. Thought about skipping season 3 and 4, since they don't have that much of a plot relevance, but you'll attack me in the comments for not doing them, so here you go. Okay, for the first half, we are adapting 6 to 7 episodes for half of the movie, like usual. I can suggest mixing the Hypnosis episode with the Charmcaster episode. I would like to keep the Merry Christmas one as a little filler. Episodes 5 and 6 are untouched. You cut out episode 7. I would mix episode 8 and episode 9 together. Also have the baseball episode be some type of subplot that also foreshadows season 4 a little bit more. The 2-parters are the season finale of this movie, and The Visitor is just an epilogue, which is the ending of the film, I guess. There's no shit with the robot or anything. They can introduce upchuck throughout the season. But there's also the idea of combining season 3 and 4 together. Now let's move on to the last movie, season 4, I guess. This season opens up with the beginning of -10 part 1 with Ben stopping those 2 bandits, and then they circle back to the beginning of the season with Ben trapped in an artificial dream created by Enoch. Later on, you can have episode 2 and 3 play out normally like they did in the original series, or we can just mix them together. You can cut out episode 4 where the rust bucket gets hijacked. Then you move on to the wedding episode, and then after that you move on to episode 6. You can have episode 7 be a dream or a thought. We'll not have the false ending like we did in the classic series. Instead, we're going to cut straight to -10, part 1 and part 2. And the last movie in this film series would obviously be Secrets of the Omnitrix, or you can cut out the other 2 seasons, or mix the 4th season with this movie. I would like to add scenes to flesh out the characters. Whenever you want to flash back to stuff from the classic continuity, they can do it in some sort of comic panel flashback animation, like what Scott Pilgrim does. I bet they would have to make these movies one by one, a year after itself, that sort of thing, and I kind of like that they have to make it as soon as possible. Stuff like the Hunger Games have done it, and so has a lot of Japanese anime live action. And I really hope that no one gets to follow the rules of these 2 awful videos. They shouldn't be Marvel or just tell a completely different story. They should adapt the source material. But that is all for today. Hope you can see part 2, and as always, feel free to subscribe, share, like, and comment.